Oh, ho, 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 exiles. It is Belton here, back with another crafting video on our bow. From the first video, you'll remember we hit the 3T1 prefixes with the intention of going for that 6T1 number one LE mirror bow in the league. As you can see here, we've gone ahead and got the T1 crit chance as well as the T1 +2 arrow. And we are now attempting our final suffix and final modifier, the tier 1 attack speed. It should be said, I actually did do an attempt on this earlier, a couple days ago, it might have been a day ago, where I used 198 Hinakora's locks. The odds are a 1 in 139.5 based on weighting. Let's call it 1 in 140. Unfortunately, we did not hit it that time. So over the next day, in the past day, I should say, put together another 148 Hinakora's locks. Wanted to make sure we had at least the average attempts. Accumulatively, this will put us to 346 Hinakora's locks attempting this. Since it is a 1 in 140, that gives us over a 93% chance of success here. So hopefully we can get this. As it stands right now, we have done 12 mirror services on this bow so far, just with the crafted attack speed, which had the lower fee. That's what helped pay for these additional locks here. And so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into this, and hopefully we can get her done. In terms of overall cost and stuff, I'll cover it at the end, but I do have a sheet here, let you guys know what that cost, as well as I can show you a couple sort of funny highlights from the first part of the video. But just I know sometimes I can drag on with these intros, so we'll just get right into it. So those of you who dislike that don't have to wait too long. So we got the prod speed. And with respect to hovering with the vol orbs, I know that's kind of an ongoing, not joke necessarily, but one of those ongoing things I have done with these videos here. The other day, while doing the first attempt of 198 Hinakora's locks, we had the unholiest of holies happen. What do we get there? Oh, T2 crit multi. A very, very, very rare occurrence. One of the ones that pretty much, I would say, cannot probably really be beat by anything else in terms of humorous outcomes that could happen in that situation. So perhaps this time, just for the sake of the video, and I don't think there would ever be a situation where I would accidentally click, but just to kind of speed things along here, we'll forgo doing that this time. Ooh, that might actually be better. 223174. 223174. Minus 2, 174. Minus 22. Unfortunately, there's no way to just like hold Control D and look at this. So, 22. Minus 24. $86 and 48. Plus 12, minus 12. And oh wow, that is better, I think. 386 is how much better than so that's plus 10, and then 331 versus 348. That's plus 27. 367 versus plus 27, that's plus 25. 174 versus 196, plus 23, or sorry, plus 174, plus 3, plus 1. $832. It is indeed better. Very slightly. There we go. 4. Yep, very slightly. Sorry guys, there's no, and luckily we don't have to redo the crit there. Oh shoot, I ran out of divines. Sorry, can someone from the guild put in a divine in there? The folks on YouTube, sorry for the brief pause there. We'll keep puttering along, but unfortunately there's no better way to do that. that I'm aware of, at least. Of course, you could probably throw in a yeah. I would remember. Yeah, I told you guys you should just be selling them and then redoing them yourself. I'm crafting. Obviously, I can't sell things for you. Okay. Sorry, chat. Okay. Thank you for the div. With respect to how many times we've seen attack speed in general, what have the best rolls been? All those sorts of interesting factoids. The best we got so far, it was actually the very last, believe it or not, the very last the very last Hinokora's lock that we used in that first round of in that first round of 198 locks. On the 198th lock, we did not hit attack speed a single time. 197 times in a row. Not one time did we hit attack speed. And then on the 198th lock, we ended up getting T2 attack speed, which was very conflicting because T2 attack speed is the second best thing so it's better than Ashling attack speed, which only goes up to 15. Tier 2 attack speed goes to 16. Crafted attack speed goes to 13. So, there's obviously an impulse in that moment to want to settle or to keep it. And in hindsight, it might have been wise to do so at that time, given the fact that we ended up putting it up for service just with a crafted mod to generate some currency here. It might have been wise. Hindsight's always 2020, though, right? So at the time, it was we could have done that, but knowing that we wanted to get the 6T1, it would have just meant that we'd have to use 6 locks on average to remove it. Locks at that point were getting relatively expensive. Upwards of 20 divines over the past couple of days we've been paying. They've dropped a little bit over the weekend because a bunch of the Fizzbos have been completed, and some of the teams competing for those no longer are using them. Obviously, the combined, for myself, we used over 350 of them. So you can imagine with 3 teams all competing for very difficult crafts, buying those in such quantities, the supply of them, was significantly lower than it would be on the weekend. Obviously, there's a lot of people playing this weekend with, Christmas holidays. People got some time off. On top of that, just weekends in general are usually more populated. In particular, though, we're 2 weeks into the league now, basically. 2 weeks and a couple days. And so it's still peak player time, but combined with the holidays and the fact that there's less of a use case for them at the moment, given the fact that there aren't. Naturally, this will rebound somewhat as people craft other mirror items or whatever, but I know Kaiba and the TFT guys and all of them were also buying locks at the same. Oh, look at that! T1 crit multi. All buying locks at the same time. We were. So for ourselves, having used almost 350 locks, you can imagine that the strain that would put on the supply side of the market in the middle of the week. So the price of locks has dropped down to about 14 divs right now. I would say the average price we paid for them was probably around 16 or 17 divs. So it's not a major loss in the grand scheme of things, with the bow costing in the range of 20 to 25 mirror sort of thing. Depending on... It's hard to look at the amount spent with respect to, the total, like, say, vultures, crate chicks, exalts, divines, locks. All these things have, because the early league has a pretty a volatile economy, ups and downs, and the different hours of the day that you're on can impact it too. It's hard to necessarily specifically say how much was exactly spent at any given time. Even if you relate it to mirrors or divines, the rates constantly change, but there were situations, of course, where we actually physically had to sell mirrors. But yeah, the average would be like 20 to 25 mirrors for sure. It's my impulse here to want to continuously provide some colorful commentary or anecdotes that are relevant. But frankly, at this point, there's not too much to it, except for there's our attack speed. Tier 4, first time getting the attack speed, period. So tier 4 attack speed is our best today. Oh, that was one thing I was mentioning before. Sorry, I can follow up on. The first go around, the first 198 locks. The first round of them, we did. It was 121, and then on the second time, I bought 77 of them. So it was like 2 separate crafting sessions, which is why I didn't upload that video. It just would have been too long, and there was too much in between for it to. I don't really know how to edit videos, which I'm sure some of you YouTube critics that frequent the comment section are probably aware of. But yeah, the first go of it, we didn't actually hit an attack speed at all. I must just use that divine orb. We did end up getting one, so we got the tier 2 attack speed one time. Following that, we did get tier 3 attack speed 2 times, tier 4 attack speed 2 times, and tier 5 attack speed once. And we just got the T4 attack speed for a third time there. So that would be what? Sorry, tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 3, tier 4, tier 4, tier 4, tier 5. So we've hit attack speed in general 7 times so far. Obviously, none of which have been tier 1. But we persevere. I could find myself losing focus a little bit, trying to, keep up the commentary here. My mind trying to pay attention to these relatively closely, as well as also draw from anecdotes, is being a little bit difficult. So for the peeps on YouTube, I might go a little bit silent here, so hopefully there's at least some background noise in the game. But I'm just going to try and focus up on this. Can do it a little faster too, which I'm sure some of you will appreciate. So, oh, there's attack speed again. Tier 4 though. But yeah, we're going to go silent mode here and then just bust through this wall. 100 left. 40 down. P1 damage over time multiplier. Dot multi is a rare mod. P2 attack speed, by the way, is the same weighting as tier 1 attack speed. So, yeah, obviously in that instance was equally as likely to pick one or the other. Well, unfortunate we got the shorter end of the stick, but we are well above the average now. Almost double, actually, in fact. Actually, we might be more than double. 280 would be after 82 of them, so one... 82 plus 66, so we'll have... There. We have 9 more until we're officially double the average. Which is funny, because that's exactly... maybe not funny, but with the +2 arrow, the average amount is 550 to... it depends, obviously, it's going to vary based on what your first exalt is, but double exalting prefixes can't be changed. Scour, it's 550 to 600 exalts and divines on average, and it took us 1,130, which was obviously just right exactly double what the average would be. So perhaps that's like a prophetic destiny for us here. These aren't cheap though, and at this stage of the league, of course, having these runs of poor luck can be pretty difficult to bounce back from. Of course, we're not going to give up or anything, but certainly frustrating. Not to be a pessimist, knock on wood. We still got this, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Ho, 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 make me a bo, bo, bo. Santa boss. Although I will say, if we don't hit this, I am going to go outside, probably have a cigarette, and then I'm going to go find some children and tell them Santa isn't real. Just as important to let out your frustrations through a healthy outlet. Okay. Come on, RNGesus, don't make me ruin a kid's childhood. All right, we're officially, it's a 1 in 140, and we are officially at 280 attempts. And counting. Each one of those attempts having cost us about 17 divines on average as well. So when we hit 300, which will be approximately when we enter this last column here, that will have been around 11 mirrors. 11 mirrors worth of locks on this one modifier. I think, if I remember correctly, Sushi last league had a bow where he had to use like 130 or 150 in that range. And I remember that was, people thought like that was crazy at the time. Now, obviously, last league locks were, well, not at every phase, but they're more expensive. But nonetheless, the probability still remains equally as frustrating as he felt in that moment. But obviously, you then have to double that amount, which is where we're at right now. Stay positive. Let's go. Manifestation. We got this. Don't make me go out there, RN Jesus, and find some people who believe in the secret and tell them it's not real either. We're gonna be shattering some foundational beliefs today. Oh yeah. Just want to make sure that wasn't one of the items I have that's up for triple figure digits. Or sorry, triple figure divines. We won't interrupt the craft for small stuff. Yeah, what troubles me, not that this has any kind of bearing on anything really, but the amount of times that we've just got attack speed, let alone T1 attack speed, is troubling. The alternative way to do this would be to block dex and accuracy with a bench craft. And then get the attack speed before you put on the crit chance, which in hindsight, that makes it a 1 in 121, by the way. And that's why, if you recall, I was saying the first time we made an attempt at this, I had 121 locks. It was to match the exact amount of that were needed on average. But it's only 18 locks more to get it normally. Plus, we already had the T1 crit chance. So it's like, if you wanted to reverse that and get 6 T1, it doesn't make sense to get rid of the T1 crit chance in favor of getting the attack speed, because it would cost you more than 17 locks to get the crit chance back on there. But the only, and again, this is very much a hindsight argument. The only thing that you could maybe say to support that would be that because crit chance is hard capped, right? You can't get over 100% crit chance. And because you can, because you could bench crit with the Ashblade ones, so you can get, of course, the strength and int as well, just from the bench mod. Having the natural tier 1 attack speed, and then up until you were wanting to or decided to go for natural tier 1 crit 38%, you could at least, at the very least, you could, you could just bench crit with strength and int. And since, most people don't have too difficult a time hitting crit cap anyways, functionally, that might actually be better for some builds, given the fact that, if 25% bench crit gets them to crit cap, then there's no advantage to having 38% bench crit. If the local crit doesn't make a difference. Now, they could obviously unassign points or change gear to take advantage of the additional base crit, because obviously that's a base multiplier. However, the strength and int is definitely beneficial for pretty much any bow build, assuming that you're a ranger or on the right side of tree, predominantly at least. It can always be somewhat attribute shy, and if you're playing Omni, of course, it just ends up becoming Omni, which is pen and res. This is as I said, dude, like doing the on Crowds of Exile, you could do a cumulative probability. So this is it was like 93.5% chance that we would get this after 346. I am getting a little nervous here, but as ever, optimistic. God damn. All right, so there's the third time we've hit attack speed in the previous 114 locks. We've hit attack speed 3 times now, all of which have been tier 4 attack speed. Out of a general curiosity, sorry, I just want to confirm this. I know tier 2 and tier 1 attack speed are the same weight. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure the lower weight, the lower tier ones, have a higher weighting. Yeah, they're 1,000 each. So, yeah, that's the third time we've hit the tier 4. You can see here, it's 76,850. 7, 6, 850, right? And then we've got the +2 arrow, which takes away 1100 minus 1100. And then we've got the crit chance, which takes away, I believe, 6,000. Yep, 6,000 minus 6,000. And then we've got tier 1 attack speed has a 500 weighting, so divided by 500. 139.5 on average. And yeah, so oh. Yeah, I guess we're just having terrible luck there. How often should we be hitting attack speed in general? There have been times in the past where there have been mistakes on Craft of Exile. I'm not suggesting that's the case here. Obviously, this is no large enough sample size to suggest that, but every 17 tries, you should be hitting an attack speed mod. So 346 divided by 17.4 means we should have hit attack speed 20 times by the time we're done. And that would be our 4th time hitting tier 4. And then once tier 5, that's 5. 2, 7, 8. We've hit attack speed 8 times in general. So we are... That's kind of suspect. If it's 20 on average and we've done 348, that's 2.5 times as often we should be hitting attack speed mods. Again, this is not nearly a large enough sample to make any conclusions from that, but and I might be magnifying this, like, it's hard not to, when I'm sure everyone playing the game, including myself, even with the successes and historically large amounts of money I do have, it's hard to not think that when things are going right, it's because I've got a system and I'm good. But when things don't go right, it's because the game is cheating and it's unfair. the laws of the gamer. Obviously, yeah. When your expectations don't align with your outcomes, it can seem like things are working against you. I realize it's not the reality of the situation, but I suppose knowing the likelihood of outcomes obviously kind of magnifies that, right? Like when you expect something to be a 1 in 5, and then it ends up you don't hit it for like 20 times, it's like, any feelings of being unlucky you might have get amplified by that. And then when you are having to use an incredibly expensive currency type, which is rather difficult to source at a very early phase in the league, in which sourcing said currency is more difficult as an individual player, that yeah, I feel like I'm sorry not to use chat as therapy here, but I'm bracing myself for the potential that this might actually not hit, which would be upsetting for sure. Tomorrow, jokes aside though, and not to, for those of you who take it as a religious holiday, no sacrilege intended, but for those of you who celebrate Christmas primarily as a commercial holiday or just sort of part of more of a cultural holiday, Merry Christmas. Tomorrow, I believe, is Christmas. No, tomorrow's Sunday. Sorry, the day after. Tomorrow, though, I won't be, like, for the next several days, I will be gone. Because of Christmas stuff with my family and extended family. This was something I was definitely anticipating having done by then. Yikes. This works out. Maybe we're just being left for a cliffhanger here. The I did mention. Oh! Jingoes, baby! Never lost confidence the whole damn time! All right, YouTube. Oh, God, what a fucking roller coaster. Oh, my therapist is going to love this video, lads. Woo! Let's go. Woo, woo, woo. My lord. All right. All right, let's cover the cost quickly. I forgot to add the thing. It was 1,130 div, 1,130 exalts. There is the final cost for the thing, minus 16 locks. So we used, that was for prefixes, sorry. So it was, we also used 54 locks for the prefixes, so that's why it's 400. So we just have 16, that's 384. 384 Hina cores locks. I'm not going to do the math on this just because I don't want the video to extend too much. I also think I might be having a cardiac arrest, so good lord. What a roller coaster. If anyone in chat or on watching this on YouTube is curious as to what the final costs were, I estimate ballpark 20 to 25 mirrors. Fantastic. TFT has also put out an elemental bow, by the way. If anyone is curious, theirs says explode instead of crit multi. This is not just because this is my bow, but explode is not good on an elemental bow. It's not really good on bows in general. You have no scaling for AoE. And also, the only way that you can scale up the fizz explosion is through, if you're wearing Headhunter, you can get fizz added as extra. But again, you don't have any other fizz scaling, so that damage is rather minimal. Crit multi is also a very high scaler on elemental builds and on bow builds in general because you're going to have 100% crit. And as well, you also don't have any area of effect scaling, so chain explosions aren't really going to work as well, even with Herald of Ice. Furthermore, if you really were so inclined to have an explosion mod, you have 3 charms that can do it as well. You can also, if most elemental builds are going to use Feed, Fuel, and Martial on an 8 passive attack cluster, there is a prefix mod there that can replace other Feed or Fuel called Devastator. Does the same thing. You have to keep in mind that the crit multi there is basically like taking Heartseeker as a node, which is obviously a very good notable. Far better than sacrificing one of those prefixes. You also have the option of using a Megalomaniac, or you can use the Exploding Flask, the Bismuth one. I'm blanking on the name of it. But there are a variety of other areas. In general, though, because it's a projectile build, not scaling AoE, it's not that great. A lot of people in chat have asked me that. I'm sure some people on YouTube are going to as well. I'm not saying that to disparage TFT. I obviously have done so in the past, and I don't think very highly of them. But just with respect to comparing the two bows, if you were curious as to which one is better, in every single scenario, it's better to have the crit multi than it is to have explode. If you guys recall, last league I hit explode 7 times while trying to craft the bow, and I never even kept it myself because it's kind of pointless. So now, there we go, 6T1. I said we're going to keep it cheaper than TFTs. I think I put a cap at 150 divines. That's going to be exceptionally difficult to recuperate costs on, but I will put a link to the mirror thread below for anyone watching on YouTube. Got to stay true to my word, despite the fact that's going to require a lot of mirror services to break even, but we'll put it at 150 divs. And hopefully for those of you that can afford that, you enjoy it. I know not everyone can afford that. Mirrors are sometimes prohibitively expensive for those, but hopefully having seen the process, seen the costs, and understanding the difficulty, that it doesn't bother too many of you that are interested. Anyways, guys, what a roller coaster. That was fun. And as a final the final little bit here I wanted to show you with hovering the Vol orbs for people in chat. This happened the other day, guys. I might post this as a YouTube short for the people watching on YouTube, but it finally happened. Look at this. While we were hovering for the tier 1 attack speed, it actually happened. We got +1 arrow to replace the Gilded Fossil. So you can see we got the tier 1 lightning damage, tier 1 attack speed, they got the crit multi, and then the Gilded Fossil was replaced by the corrupted bow attacks fire an additional arrow. That is the outcome that we were always interested in looking at. Yeah, for the obviously we didn't click it because we were just going for the attack speed, but the general curiosity of that, I believe that like the odds of that happening were something like 1 in 5,000 or whatever. So this is probably the rarest item that will never exist. So that's kind of cool, but that's also why we didn't hover. I do actually have a VOD of that, but I might make a clip of it sometime. Anyways, I know I tend to ramble. Hopefully you guys on YouTube enjoyed that. On the Twitch, folks, I'll be with you guys in a sec. Merry Christmas to everybody, and hope you're having a great league start. Peace!